Good morning and welcome to the work session for October 4th, 2023. We'll start with adult probation.
Morning, Commissioners.
Good morning, Trevor.
Here this morning to ratify the purchase of a bulletproof vest for the amount of $863.82. This includes the vest and the carrier that the vest goes in, and this falls under the listed qualified manufacturers for the 50% federal reimbursement that the county applies for every 2 years.
Okay.
So you have that back.
Okay.
You have to repurchase it for that
Yep.
amount. And then the next thing would be to ratify to pay the invoice to the LSQ Funding Group LC for the extradition of Anthony Williams from Onslow County Jail, that was in North Carolina, to the Crawford County Correctional Facility in the amount of $3,604.83.
Any questions for Trevor?
Nope.
Thank you, Trevor.
Thanks,
Thank you, sir.
Veteran Services. Good morning.
Good morning, Tony.
I'm here to ratify the purchase of the VentureSpec platform we use to file claims with from Tyler Technologies. We're hoping that this is a one-time purchase and we'll be able to move away from it, but right now we're using the new one that the state has. We're going to move hopefully out of VentureSpec and completely to the new one. The purchase is $898. That is for 3 licenses. They gave us one for free. So, again, that is just for hopefully this year.
Okay.
Next is the request approval for 3 Samsung tablets, 7-inch tablets for, that we use for now signing the claim with the new platform. And also, the next purchase is the wireless access point, which will give us the wireless for those 3 pads.
Okay. Any questions for Tony?
He's got one more.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, he did all 3.
Oh,
He's
okay.
that though.
All right, I'm
Well,
sorry.
okay, just-
None of these are budgeted, and we'll be moving money from flag orders.
We appreciate it.
Great, thank you.
Thank you, Tony.
Thanks, Tony.
Conservation.
Morning, Tracy.
Morning, Tracy.
Morning, Tracy.
I'm just wanting to request the creation of a per diem position for the Director of Travel and the Wellness Technician. This would be to provide some interim support and some training to get somebody up and running.
Okay. Any questions for Tracy?
Nope.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Scott, will you turn that mic on? Thank you. Domestic Relations? Oh, I thought you had a remote for it.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm here to ratify our security agreement with Core Security of Crawford County LLC.
Okay. Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
The courts? Good
Morning.
morning.
Morning, Kim.
Here this morning to approve purchase of the filing system supplies, the folders, labels, etc. for 2024 from Avail Business Systems, Inc. for the MDJ Titusville office for $2,057.97. This is a budgeted item. And also to ratify approval of Blue Jeans video conferencing contract for 4 months beginning October 1st, 2023 at a total cost of $747.56.
Any questions to courts? Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Clerk of Courts? We'll wait and come back so she comes. Public Defender? Maybe we'll wait for him to come back. Public Safety? Mr. Beveridge?
Here,
Well, thank you, Greg.
Morning,
Morning,
Greg.
Greg.
Asking to ratify the contract with Trace Landscaping to install a perimeter security fence at the Public Safety Building. The cost of $88,598.59. We'll be using wireless legacy funds to cover that.
Okay,
Also asking to ratify the permit application to the City of Meadville for the same fence at a cost of $30. And also approve our payment of $3,050 to the LSSE engineers for continued work at the Sugar Lake site.
okay. Any questions for Greg? Thank you, Greg. Wes, do you want to go since you come in? If I can get you. Okay, thank you. Yeah,
I'm asking that you approve the creation of a temporary per diem for the intake specialist.
okay. Any questions for Wes? Thank you, Wes.
Thank you, sir.
Planning?
Morning,
Morning,
Commissioner.
Zach.
Morning, Zachary.
This morning, we've got 5 items for you. The first, we're asking for approval on an invoice from LSSE in the amount of $5,825 for engineering and design services associated with the Washington Street Stormwater Project in Conneautville. This is paid for out of the fiscal year 2020 CDBG program of the counties.
Okay.
We're also asking for approval of an invoice from Porter Consulting Engineering in the amount of $16,583.59 for engineering and design services associated with the Heidi Cooper project. This is paid for out of our CDBG CV3 competitive grant.
Okay.
We're seeking approval of an invoice from the City of Meadville in the amount of $1,200 to reimburse for permitting fees associated with the same project, the Heidi Cooper Park project. This is paid for out of the CDBG CV3 grant as well.
Okay.
We're asking for approval from an invoice from Stifler McGraw Associates in the amount of $3,184 for Titusville's Church Run Flood Mitigation Plan project. It's paid for out of the City of Titusville's 2021 CDBG fund. And the last item this morning, I'm going to turn over to my colleague Stephanie Thayer with the Planning Commission to speak to you about the proposals that they're putting
Okay.
in front of you. So.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
Stephanie.
The, excuse me, Agriculture and Environmental Concerns Committee of the Crawford County Planning Commission is proposing a renaming of the Crawford County Forest. The committee recommends the Crawford County Planning Commission propose to you all the renaming of the Crawford County Forest be renamed to George M. Hummer County Forest. To give a little bit of a background, George M. Hummer was born May 6th, 1899 to Elise and May Hasbrook Hummer. He died September 13th, 1972. He was a Crawford County Commissioner from 1943 to 1955 and pioneered the creation of the forest. He was originally from Titusville area, and he was valedictorian of his graduating class. And after graduating from Penn State with honors, in 1922 he ran his family farm in Rome Township. He served as state director of the Farm and Home Administration from 1955 to 67, and was one of Crawford County's fair originators as well as its treasurer. He has 4 children in the area, one of whom is still living, and he is a longtime member of the Titusville Rotary, the Hightown Grange, and Bethel United Methodist Church. During his term in office, Hummer was instrumental in developing and originally designating the Crawford County Forest near Hightown. The resolution to establish the forest was approved in 1944 on the property originally acquired in 1937. In 1952, Hummer was asked the county to consider a revival of county reforestation. Hummer's vision was that in 50 to 75 years, the forest would support county projects through lumber and timber, and he helped procure and plant tens of thousands of seedlings that grew into the forest we know today. The committee recommends, as part of a larger improvement project for the forest, or at the forest, to officially name the forest in honor of Hummer, whose vision and work was instrumental in the designation and cultivation. The second proposal is for signage and branding of the Crawford County Forest. The committee recommends that we propose to you a multi-step signage project that takes place at the Crawford County Forest with an anticipated completion date of April 2024. The signage project is anticipated to have 3 parts. The first part is wayfinding and brandage signage. The signage for this part will encompass signs along the trail that run through the forest, as well as on the 4 roads that abut the forest: Greytown Road, Kinsick Road, Rossenberg Road, and Route 8. There would be a main trailhead sign to be installed in the new trailhead parking lot, which would be the largest sign. Single post sign in the forest along the trail, marking the entering and exiting of the forest. Single post signs along 4 roads compliant with 4 road signage policies, and boundary line marker metal tree markers, as well as the installation of public hunting signs, some of which we already have. Part 2 would be an interpretive sign, 3-sided kiosk sign in trailhead parking lot. One side would give history of George M. Hummer, who he is and why we're naming it after him, and a map of the forest. The second would be a forest stewardship sign, the types of trees, timbering, old growth forest, and etc. Side 3 would be about ecosystems, wetlands, and wildlife in the forest. Part 3 of this project would be a web page for the county forest. A web page would be created on the county website with information about the forest, including background history, county forest day hunting programs, sportsman's club lease, forest stewardship, future plans, parking and accessibility, and how to contact get involved, as well as a map and link to the East Branch Trail website. I do have a project budget proposal. May I
Yes,
approach?
sure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Stephanie.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Did you want me to go into detail about the budget?
No, it's okay. I'm going to defer to Commissioner Wiederspan because I think this is something it's important to him. It's always been important to him, and I'd like to have him talk a little bit about how we got here and what we're trying to do. And I will say this, that we certainly appreciate your committee's work, and Ms. Hilburn, I think she's absent today, which is because she probably doesn't want to speak in front of us, as you can tell her, but we've certainly had a great presentation. I'd like Commissioner Wiederspan to talk about that a little bit, so.
Sure.
Yeah, the Ag and Environmental Committee's been working on this for a couple of years. They've always been very supportive and actually helped with getting the cleanup day out at the county forest every year. And one of our former employees in the planning department, Thomas, was very involved in this, and he has a lot to thank for where we are today. But it certainly warms my heart to see what's going on out there and the signage. You still find a lot of people in this county that have no idea that the county owns a forest and what's out there, and the availability for recreation and enjoying nature and everything. So they've done a lot of work on this. The ideas for the signage, I think, is great, so everybody will be able to find it if they're not aware, and trying to find the forest, as well as just going down Route 8, you'll see signs. So this is great. I'm really excited to see this, and I'm looking forward to April when everything's completed, and hopefully that'll coincide with cleanup day. So thank you for all your work on this.
Thank you.
Anything, Mr. Son?
No, it's great.
I would just add that Commissioner Hummer is correct in the fact that the money and the proceeds to help pay for the sign and signage is from timber sales. So it is sustaining the process through. Also, the expenses for cleanup day has been directly related to the actual timber sales. So he's correct in the fact that it is kind of sustaining itself through the process. So thank you for your time, though. I appreciate it.
You bet. Thank you.
Thank you, Zach. Maintenance?
Morning.
Morning, Mark.
Morning, Mark.
Asking approval to hire Stantec Architect and Engineering to renew an NPDES permit for the parking lot project behind the courthouse in the amount of $10,000.
Okay.
Asking approval to pay invoice to Brian Noah, Project Manager for professional services from September 1st to September 30th in the amount of $2,515.50.
Okay.
Asking to ratify the approval to pay Shingle Decker Welding to make repairs to the abutment of County Bridge number 29 on Depot Road, the amount of $19,879.10. This is to be paid for with liquid fuels money.
Okay.
And last, asking approval to pay application number 3 from A.W. Farrell for the work done on the Care Center roof project, in the amount of $34,145.60.
Any questions for Mark? Thank you, Mark.
Thanks, Mark.
Human Services? Good morning, Sue.
Morning, Sue.
I'm requesting approval of the MATP initial allocation for fiscal year 23-24. The allocation for 23-24 is higher than what we received in 22-23. We utilize this funding to pay Meadville Medical Center for MATP services. The total is $860,391 maximum. There is no county match. Requesting approval of the purchase requisition to Redwood Toxicology Laboratory for drug testing kits. The total is $1,687.50. Cost to the county is $364.45. Requesting approval of the purchase requisition to Redwood Toxicology Laboratory for drug tests completed in August. The total is $994.50. The cost to the county is $214.78. Requesting approval of the Triennial Supports Coordination Organization Qualification Application. Requesting approval of the C3 amendment to the fiscal year 22-23 contract with Hand in Hand Mental Health Services. This amendment is increasing the retained revenue plan maintenance maximum by $13,049.93. There is no overall change in funding. We're just moving funding between line items. Requesting approval of the Meadville Medical Center fiscal year 23-24 grant contract for the Medical Assistance Transportation Program. The contract maximum is $860,391, which is based upon the MATP initial allocation for fiscal year 23-24. Requesting approval of the fiscal year 23-24 CYSJP contract with Mars Home for Youth Family Services for the High Fidelity Wraparound Program. There is no rate as MHY is reimbursed for actual expenses incurred up to the contract maximum. Expenses will include staff salaries and benefits, mileage, office expenses, and an admin fee. The contract maximum is $4,877 higher than fiscal year 22-23. The majority of the increase is for increase in budgeted staff salaries. Cost to the county is only increased by $243.85. Requesting approval of the fiscal year 23-24 CYSJP contract with Youth Advocate Programs for truancy programs and the YAP Works program. These are the same services that we contracted for in fiscal year 22-23. Requesting approval of the C1 amendment to the fiscal year 23-24 MHIDEI contract with Achievement Center LECOM for family-based mental health services. The family-based mental health MA billable state match rate decreased from $12.93 for 15 minutes to $12.36 for 15 minutes on October 1st. The rate, which is determined by the federal government, changes at the beginning of every federal fiscal year. Requesting approval of the C2 amendment to the fiscal year 23-24 contract with Family Services and Children's Aid Society for family-based. Same thing, the MA billable state match rate decreased from $12.93 to $12.36 on October 1st. Requesting approval of the C1 amendment to the fiscal year 23-24 contract with Hand in Hand Mental Health Services for the SEEDS program. This amendment is increasing the August to September 3rd maximum by $400.31. There is no overall change in funding. We're just moving funding between line items. Requesting approval of the C1 amendment to the fiscal year 23-24 contract with Marikey for family-based. Same reason, state match rate decreased from $12.93 to $12.36. And finally, requesting the following contracts, approval of the following contracts which have the same services and rates as fiscal year 22-23. Auberly for independent living services, Blended Spirits Ranch equine assisted therapy, a CYS contract for individual, family, and group counseling sessions and individual and group riding lessons, Ashley Mars for professional contract for occupational therapy, and Sonia Ekstrom for a professional contract for occupational therapy.
Any questions for Sue? Thank you, Sue.
Thank you.
Sue.
Human Resources.
Commissioners,
Good morning.
Morning, Brittany.
I'm requesting approval for the creation of a per diem human resources assistant position.
Okay.
And the second one, I'm requesting to approve the Crawford County Care Center non-union payment for unused paid leave days relating to the sale of the Crawford County Care Center.
Okay. Any questions for Brittany? Thank you.
Thank you.
Finance?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning, Stephanie.
For your approval, I have invoices totaling $224,434.80. The first is to Remedy Analytics. It's the second quarter pharmacy billing, invoice number 13621534, in the amount of $26,188.80. This will come from insurance premiums. The second is to the Penn State Extension. It's the fourth quarter 2023 appropriation. The total amount is $72,500, and it comes from the Cooperative Extension. The third is to Community Health Services. It's the 2023-2024 July and August MATP trip reimbursement in the amount of $125,746. It comes from Human Services Transportation Block Grant. For ratification, I have invoices totaling $705,114.41. The invoice is to P-CHIP. It is our October 2023 health insurance bill. The invoice number is 144376-0 in the amount of $705,114.41, and that comes from insurance premiums. There was one contract to ratify that didn't make it on. Should I hold it until next?
Does it have to be done right now, if we ratify it later?
I think it will be fine.
Okay,
The work has already been done,
Okay.
so.
okay.
Okay.
Any other questions for Stephanie?
No.
Sheriff Powers?
Morning, Dave.
Morning, Dave.
Hey, Dave?
I'm here to ask to approve the contract with Rapid Scan Systems for maintenance agreement for the 2 X-ray machines in the Judicial Center. The two of them total $9,979.20. And that's a $369.60 increase from last year.
Any questions for Dave? Thank you, Dave.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dave.
The treasurer?
Good morning.
Morning, Christine.
Morning, Christine.
Here to ask for approval to pay government software services for the printing and shipment of the 2023 per capita tax bills and the duplicates in the amount of $11,016.31. Half of this will be reimbursed by the municipalities, and it is a budgeted item.
Okay. Any questions for Christine? Okay. Voter services, do you want to handle that, Chris?
Sure.
Okay.
Asked to ratify the payment of $2,074 to Walmart.com for the purchase of 61 hard side luggage bags. $932.34 is paid from the remainder of the election security grant, and the remaining balance of $1,141.66 paid from the election budget.
Okay, any questions for Chris? Thank you. Clerk of Courts, we'll have you go before we, I saw you. Thanks for coming over. It's okay. We got you.
Morning, Patty.
Good morning. I am here requesting to purchase a Lexmark printer scanner, which I had discussed this with Hagen's, and my quote is through Hagen's. It's for $1,938. It will not come from general funds, but it will come from my automation account. And it's replacing one that's no longer in service.
You need it ratified, correct?
I'd like it to be ratified, yes,
Okay.
thank you.
Any questions for Patty? No. All right, thank you.
Maybe I'll come back the next time, huh?
Courtney, you doing Commissioner's office?
Requesting to ratify the payment of invoice to Leonard's Auto for the repair of the Chevy Suburban in the amount of $1,144.24.
Okay.
For GIS, requesting to approve the purchase of a Dell Latitude 3540 laptop and Dell Precision 3660 desktop tower in the amount of $2,992.49 paid from the CapEx fund. This upgrade is per ITS's replacement timeline.
Okay.
For the print room, requesting to approve the purchase of the current Quadient PF80 folder with yearly maintenance in the amount of $2,779.
Okay.
The notifications, Chapter 102 permit notification from National Fuel Gas to install steel gas pipeline in Sadsbury Township and Conneaut Lake Borough. A PA DEP submission from Mark J. Corey and Associates for the Jericho Road Bridge Rehabilitation Project in Cambridge Township.
Okay.
Notification from Dice and Halmy Engineering, Inc. for a small flow treatment facility in East Fallowfield Township.
Okay.
Acts 14 notification from Saffron Family Houston LLC regarding reissuance of a NPDES permit for a small flow treatment facility at Union City Dollar General in Bloomfield Township.
Okay.
Acts 14, 67, 68 notification from Dyson Halmy Engineering, Inc. for water quality management and NPDES permits for a proposed small flow treatment facility to serve an existing single-family residence in Summerhill Township.
Okay.
Act 14 notification from CWM Environmental that Union City Dollar General is submitting a renewal permit for a sewage in Bloomfield Township.
Okay.
Act 14 notification from Mark J. Corey and Associates for Stedman Road Culvert Replacement Project in Steuben Township. And Act 14 notification from Mark J. Corey and Associates for the Whitley Road Culvert #1 Replacement Project in Rockdale Township.
Okay. Any questions for Courtney? Any public comment? Commissioner comments, Commissioner Soft?
Nothing today, thank you.
Commissioner Weiderspan?
Yeah, I'd just like to mention that started yesterday working with Tony on recognition for our veterans coming up in November. last year, I didn't get started on it quick enough to do something, but during the month of November, in concurrence with Veterans Day, NACO, the National Association of Counties, encourages each and every county to turn their courthouses green. I've talked to Mark, and we're in the early processes of getting spotlights or lights or whatever to put on the front of the courthouse,
Great.
so it can be green to bring awareness of veterans and their needs. So I appreciate Tony. He got right on it. I asked him about it, and next thing I know, I had emails coming in right and left, and I appreciate that, Tony, and all you do for veterans.
And in full clarity, when he talked to me about it and he said making the courthouse green, I had to ask him a few extra questions because I was like, wait a minute, what are we talking about? So we understood. For myself, Tanya, would you come up front and center and bring who you have with you, please? So my closing comments are going to be simple but straight to the point. This will be Tanya's last meeting with us. This is our interim. I'll let you introduce her in a second. However, I'd like to talk about Tanya for a second. She and I have spent a lot of time together. Every Friday in the mornings we did care center stuff. And she is the administrator who got us through COVID. And I think COVID probably ranks above the tornado at Rolling Fields, right? I think it does. And she did a wonderful job for the county. We owe her certainly debt and gratitude. This Board of Commissioners thanks you wholeheartely for all of your time and efforts. And we wish you nothing but the best in your future. If you want to introduce the interim director for us, we appreciate that.
Thank you for your kind words.
Yep.
Everyone, I'd like you to meet Pam Fatigant. She'll be the administrator during the transition. And she's been an administrator for some time now, also a nurse. She's an RN.
Oh, great.
So I think she'll bring a wealth of knowledge and experience to the home and get them through to the next step.
Well, again, we welcome you aboard, and we wish you all the luck in the world. If you need anything from us, Tanya, please don't hesitate to ask. So thank you both.
Thank you.
Okay, the next full session will be October 11th. The next work session will be October 18th. We do have a recessed election board meeting that we're going to take over here at this point. All right, thank you.
You okay now? Yeah. I'll officially call this reconvened meeting to order. This is a reconvening of the meeting that we had on September 27th. The only agenda item before us today, as was discussed at the September 27th meeting, was looking for approval to formally change the polling location for Beaver Township back to the township, from the township building back to the township community building. After we discussed this last Wednesday, the township building was posted with a notification that there was a plan to move voting back to the community building. I've not heard any objections to that. So I would entertain a motion to, again, move the polling location for Beaver Township back to the Township Community Building on Beaver Road in Springboro.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second that.
Properly moved and second. Discussion, comments, questions? Not much more that
nothing.
we haven't already discussed. Then all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carried. After this meeting, then Voter Services will be sending out postcards again to all registered voters, letting them know of the move back to the community building. Any other item to come before the board? If not, I would ask for a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
We are adjourned. Thank you.